Hey guys, welcome back to Heat Check. I'm Chelsea Thomas.
And I'm Manny Day.
And today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, professional basketball player Ryan Rhoomes.
What's going on?
How you
Good,
doing?
bro. How you living, man?
Good, man.
Listen,
good,
guys, don't sleep. Ryan, when'd you leave? When'd you leave for?
2016.
2016, 2016,
Yeah.
2017. This is black excellence.
You already know. You already
This is for
know.
the products, right?
You already know. That's a fact. So Ryan's played center most recently in Brazil for Minas Storm, great team. And before that, he played for Saint Quentin in France.
Saint Quentin?
Yes,
Saint Quentin or Saint Quentin?
Saint Quentin.
All right, if you gonna say it right. I know you're American. It's Saint Quentin.
Nah, Americans are lazy and never try to pronounce shit properly.
No,
So
talk your shit.
that's a fact. So let's get right into it. So when we were senior, you knew you were going to play professionally, but there was a period in time where you didn't know exactly where you were going to play. And then when you finally signed the contract, what was that feeling like?
It was a relief, you know, because after the signing part we had at Fordham.
That was
It was
lit.
lit.
Yeah.
It was lit. So after the signing party, you know, I was here working out every day, hitting my agent up every day. Around that time it was summer league, so you know I was stressing out. Every day hitting him up like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? Yo, be patient, calm down, you know? So I was just in the crib working out, getting ready. So when he told me, yo, you going to France, it was relief. It was a real relief. So
That's dope.
A lot of people don't really know about the stress and the mental game of trying to go pro, of going to overseas. What was it like trying to balance it? What did you have to do to take your mind off it sometimes?
you just gotta stay focused. I mean, you know, keep working out, keep getting your body right, because you can get a call any moment. So, you know, I was stressed. I'm a stressful person, regardless. I'm a stressful person, regardless.
I believe stress is not real, if you ask me. But no, that you don't prove me wrong. You got a couple grades up in there.
You got a little rogue going on.
Oh, just for men, feel me?
I like
Feel me?
So you played in Brazil, you played in France. Both those countries, you know, English is not their primary language. You do speak French functionally. You don't speak any Portuguese. So what was that transition like?
I mean, going out there the first problem I had in France was, you know, when we learn languages here, it's different, totally different.
Yeah.
Whether it's Spanish, you know, French, whatever, it's totally different. They teach you the basics. So the first problem that I encountered was I needed a phone. I turned my phone off before I went out there. So I even just trying to talk to the dude, you know, like, yo, I need a phone, SIM card, it was just very difficult. So when you're overseas, they're not gonna adapt to you.
Yeah.
You have to adapt to them. So, you know, I just had to, you know, I had my Netflix on. It was on English, but the subtitles were in French. You know, just
learn.
just to learn a little bit
That's
there.
smart.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
smart.
Like
So
Smart.
I just interact with people. Like, if you don't speak to them, you know, they're not gonna know. You know, so you gotta just try to speak French with them. Try to speak. You know, just try to lean them up, basically.
Yeah, and
So-
I mean, you would think someone of your size. I mean, you're 6'8", so
He's
people
6'8".
people not just saying, okay, he's just here to be in Brazil. Nah, he's obviously here to play some ball. Hopefully, I mean, I guess people will warm up to you and help you out along the way like that.
I mean, in France, it was like that because, you know, basketball is more traditional over there, even though it's not as big as it is here. But in Brazil, nah. They're all about volleyball, soccer, and they're all like this tall.
Everybody does.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were a celebrity on breaks.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's like they just stare at you, you know, as a black man, you know, tall black man at that. They just
Oh yeah.
you know. So it's just different. It's just different lifestyle over there, you know.
And how was it like communicating with your coaches? Like, did the coaches speak English? Like,
Well, in France, the first two teams I had in France, the coaches, they spoke decent English. And I can interact with them in French and English, you know? But in Brazil, nah.
so how did you communicate?
The assistant spoke good English. So you had to go to assistant and the trainer to go to the coach. His English is very mediocre, you know, but basketball, as long as football, it's like, you know, it's his own language, you know?
Yeah.
You know what to do, I know what to do. So it's not really much to talk about, you know?
But when you're watching film and stuff, how do they, when you're in the film room and they're breaking this down, how did you know what they were saying?
So they had the film, and they had it in Portuguese and they had it in English.
Oh,
So
okay.
they would do what they would do in French. They would speak in English because the majority of people on the team could speak English.
Okay.
But Portuguese in Brazil, totally different. Totally different.
Okay.
So they would just speak straight Portuguese, but they would have both languages.
Okay, gotcha,
So, yeah.
gotcha.
So you mentioned the language of basketball, and I'm thinking, so you have to learn the whole new language already hard. But since basketball language stays the same, did it make it easier for you to focus on basketball, to have tunnel vision, to maybe to work your game? Because you know what, this is kind of the only thing that is stable for me in this new country.
I mean, it's kind of, but you know, you get a little sidetracked because for the fact that you're there by yourself, you're there in the crib, maybe, I want to say 80% of your time. If you're not working out, if you're not practicing, you're in the crib 80% of the time. So you stay focused because you know you're only there for one thing and one thing only. But after practice, after your workouts, whatever like that, at the end of the day, you're still going back to the crib and just watching TV, and your mind starts to erase, you know? So after a while, it's just like, it's cool and all, you know, you got your own space, you're there, you're making your money, but it's just, it starts to mess with your head, you know? So it's kind of both. It's like, you can focus more because you don't have the outside distractions. But when you like by yourself, your mind starts to erase. Yeah. Because you're there by yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, it was good for me because I learned a lot about myself. But then at the end of the day, it's like for 9 months out of the year, I'm by myself in another country.
Wild. That's actually wild.
What did you learn about yourself?
I just
Chelsea always trying to get in somebody's head.
It's just like I had to like, you know, think about certain things I did in the past, you know, my senior year, either was with my family, you know, with women, relationships, and just trying to be a better person, basically. So coming back, like I just had to learn. I learned a lot about myself, basically. So I'm not gonna say I totally changed, but I'm a little different.
I would be texting you and you would be like, oh, like Chelsea, like it's not as glamorous as you think. Like I'm by myself a lot. So I always thought like, oh Ryan, like you know, like you're living in another country, like you're getting paid well, like you're living your dream playing basketball, but like there really was like another side to it that was like not so great. You were saying.
I mean, it's just like I was saying, you're there by yourself. Yeah. And then you can't like Europe is not like the United States. Like every country is very close. So you would think like, oh, you know, you got your downtime, go do something. There's not really a lot of downtime because you have to practice and you have to do your workouts. And then the next day, sometimes 2 days, sometimes, you know, you gotta like watch film, as you should know. But it's just like, it's not really a lot of downtime. So I can't really do a lot of things that I wanna do, you know? So I can't like, I traveled to London, I traveled to Belgium.
And you took your mom to the Eiffel Tower.
I flew my mom out, my mother, and we went to the Eiffel Tower. But it's just like, it's very different, you know? And that was my first year, so that's what made it even worse. You know, my second year time around, it wasn't as bad. But that was my first time outside of the country, you know? Yeah. So just experiencing that by yourself, you know, you have to really grow up real fast.
Yeah, so being isolated inflicted a lot of change into you. One thing that I know has not changed, because with you here for 3 years, I saw it on the court, is your energy, your passion for the game. And it was infectious. It was infectious for me because I kind of brought it to football. I seen it rub off on your other teammates. Like Ryan would like get fouled.
Yeah, you're the only reason why I went to any game.
You go crazy, like laying on the floor and start screaming. I'm like, yo, like, this is real passion. This is real love of the game. How did you manage to keep that and then just like bring it on to Brazil and France?
I think I'm just like, when I play ball, I'm a very passionate person. I got that from my coach, Ron and Dozo, you know, because if you ever, for people who do know who he is, that man's crazy. He's the only white dude that's valid in the hood. He's crazy. Like my teammate that he just passed, RIP, Dwayne.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He was a knucklehead sometimes, but there's a shot of Clario running on the court because Dwayne didn't get back. Clario ran on the court and swung at him like purposely missed. But it's just let him know like he cares. So you know, like I just got that energy from him. It's like if my coach cares so much about this game that he's not even playing, why should I not? You know. Yeah. So I just every time I'm on the court, it's passion. You know, whether it's a stop, a dunk, block, just got to play with passion. So that's just the type of person that I am. I just try to carry that everywhere I go. Because that's the only thing you can control. You can't control if you score. You can't control, you know, what your teammates is doing, but you can control yourself. So.
And you mentioned being 6'8" in a foreign country, big black guy. I'm sure people giving you the eyes all the time, like, who's this? Like, did you ever experience like any racism or like ever felt like uncomfortable like in any like scenario or like restaurant or something?
Not that I can think of, but
Good,
because it's different. It's different for people that look athletic, you know? Like, if you look at me and you know, oh, he plays a sport, you know? If you look at me, oh, he plays something. It's like, if I was a 5'10" black man, you know, I think it would be a little different, but because I'm 6'8", you automatically know, like, okay, he does something, you know?
Right.
I had a car out there. I did have a car out there. It was brand new. It was like
That shit was hot. I remember that.
It was brand new. And people would just stare at me like, how did he get that car? As a black man, how did he get that car, you know?
Money.
It wasn't, it's a part of my contract. It's not like I paid for it.
He got money.
It's not like I paid for it. But yeah, just like, it's just little stuff like that.
Yo.
It's just little stuff like that. It's just little stuff like that. But I never experienced it. You know?
That's
so
really,
I can't really talk about it.
I feel
It says a lot about America.
Yeah, it really
There's
does.
a lot of racism in America,
Yeah.
and not in Brazil and France, and Sequitone and whatnot.
I mean, they have that.
I hate
They
you.
do have their problems. They do have their problems, but it's different from here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was afraid to come back to America.
Really?
When
Why?
The stuff that was going on. As soon as Trump got elected,
Nah, it's scary.
I didn't know what was going on, you know? Like, I'm in a whole different country. I'm
Yeah.
just seeing what's going on in the news, you know what I mean? Just like over there, it's like, they don't know what we do here. They just read it, they, see the news, just like me. I gotta see what everything is going on the news. So it seems so much worse than it is when you're in the situation, you know? So I'm not gonna lie, I was afraid. I was afraid to come back, you know?
So playing here, you played in a program that really wasn't, I guess, well, the Forms and the A10s, they weren't really in the top of the A10s, but I think you can always still learn from stuff every year, especially from even the losing program. What did you learn about yourself? And more importantly, what did you learn about the game of basketball that you had to bring to France and Brazil?
Our last year here was the only winning program we had in a while.
Yeah.
You know? So I just had to go into mentality. It's like I had to be the same person I was here, there, you know? Losing, we've been to season where we only won like 7 games.
Yeah.
8 games. So for me to go over there and lose is like, it wouldn't discourage me, you know? Because I've been here before. I've seen how it affects your teammates and your coaches. So I've been here. So it was just like, with a mentality, it's like, I had to just go out there and either, do what I had to do or try to push my teammates to do better, basically, because I've been there. We've won 7 games.
Yeah, you've learned how to bounce back.
Exactly. So I just try to go out with the same mentality and the same energy that I had my senior year, because that was my best year here, I just tried to push that towards where I was at then. And, it worked, because as a rookie, I averaged 12.7 rebounds. So it really did benefit me.
That's diff.
Damn,
Ryan's diff.
I only fuck with real ones, I told you.
Yeah.
I told
I did
you.
the show with you, so I'm diff.
Yeah, you right. So this past season was like the first time in your career that you had like a real injury. You injured your calf, you were out for 6 weeks, and you came back for the first round of the playoffs. So how did you stay, positive, like having your first serious injury, you're abroad, I remember you telling me it was difficult dealing with the medical staff, it was hard to communicate. So how did you deal with that? Like, how did you overcome that?
Well, I thank God I didn't need surgery, because that's one of my biggest fears, having surgery in another country. So,
Man. I didn't even think
you
about
can only
it. I
imagine
didn't even think about another country.
Exactly,
Man.
bro. But yeah, I just worked out, like I just had to listen to what they was telling me to do as trainer, and just worked out, So I just, for 7 weeks, basic treatment, ultrasound, running on the treadmill, lifting a little bit. So it messed with my mind a little bit, because it's my first injury ever.
Right.
Never had anything wrong with me. So it's like, I didn't know what to expect, Like, I didn't know if I was gonna be done for the season. I'm like, yo, if I'm hurt, send me home. Send me home. I'm done. Send me home. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I saw you posted a picture where you were guarding Anderson Varejao, and he liked it. What was that like?
Playing against him? Well, the first 2 games, I didn't have a good game against him, I'm not gonna lie. Because it was a mind thing. The first round of playoffs, I averaged, I think, 9 points. First game, I played 2 minutes, had 4 points and 4 rebounds. So from that, they was like, okay, you're good to go. Next game, I had 12 points. Next game, I had 15 points. And then we won that round. And then we play against Verishal, which is the first team. His team is the first team in the league. So the first game, I'm like, damn, I'm playing against Anderson Verishal. He got 2 rings. He's different. He has 2 rings. You know, like it's not
NBA
a game.
rings.
It's not a game.
Yeah,
it's real. So I didn't play good the first round because that was my head. Second game, I'm like, you know what? I gotta come out here. Gotta come out stronger. Still messed with my head. Didn't do good. But that third game. That third game had 20 points and 9 rebounds. So, and you know what it is? You know what it was too? I caught a lot of people up. You know, and I had a lot of confidence boosters. You know, I talked to my brother Shaq, I talked to Rebecca, and I talked to my coach, Coach DePauli, and they all basically said the same thing. You know, so it was just like it's good to have people in your corner when you have situations like that. You know,
So you are, on June 23rd, you are organizing a free basketball clinic. Talk to us about that. I'm super excited for that.
So what we're doing is we're trying to have a basketball clinic on June 23rd, like you said. We're just gonna have the kids come out. You know, we're gonna have the kids come out. We have some pros coming out. We have John Severe coming out coaching. We have Brian Smith, who's also both our Fordham alumni, coming out. You know, we're trying to have some people come out to perform, some rappers, local rappers. We're having raffles, prizes, and, you know, we're just trying to give back. Like, I don't know any other way to give back to people, you know, other than basketball. So this is my way of helping the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think this is really important. I mean, we got the ages 6 to 17 here in 2 different sessions. You gotta help the youth.
Yeah,
this is the future of America's future of basketball, no doubt, but to help them out.
And it's awesome that it's free. Anyone can just stop by, you know. It's in the Lower East Side, Henry M. Jackson Playground.
I wish we could open up to my age, because I'd come out there, I'd show them a little.
I
Why think he nice? He never played me before.
don't want to play you, bro.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
I'm Div, Chelsea. You've never seen me
I've
play.
never actually seen you ball.
I'm Bron. Y'all seen LeBron play? I play just like that. I play just like that. I'm not gonna give you 40 because we're probably gonna play 21. I'll give you about 12.
Oh my god!
I'll
I would
give you
love
12.
to see you guys play each other. I would love to see that.
I'm about that action, Ryan. Come on
No,
now.
you're not
I'm
with
about
it?
that action, Ryan.
He's not trying to embarrass you.
He's not trying to embarrass
I'm good.
Yeah, he's not
Nah,
trying to embarrass
It's a big
you.
boy.
Hey, listen, we put some money up. A lot of things can happen.
So what advice do you have for, you know, like high school players that are maybe thinking about, you know, if they don't have a chance in the NBA, like going overseas, but they're maybe like hesitant because of like the things you said, language barrier, like cultural differences? Like, what advice do you have?
I mean, it depends on your mindset, you know, because everybody's not built. First of all, to even get the pro, you have to go to college.
Yeah.
And everybody's not built to go to college. Like it's not just basketball or football or volleyball, so whatever.
It's your education.
It's your education. And that's what I didn't understand at first. You know, I'm like, yo, I just got a scholarship. Fuck school. We playing ball. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's like at the end of the day, it's like school is way more important because sports, basketball, football, whatever it may be, that shit's not forever. That shit is only temporary. You know, you only got a good maybe 10, 15 years. Maybe,
Yeah,
depending on
It's
who you are.
funny though, because coming out of high school, they was like, yo, higher grades. I'm like, man, you don't care about my grades. Look at this play I just made. Did you watch the game from last week? But it's serious, because when you get to college, you're gonna have to learn to balance grades, social life, and ball. So it's like, man, you really have to be on top of academics.
You gotta be on your P's and Q's because it's different. It's different. Like high school, I think I was like a C average. Like, didn't go to classes. I didn't care. I'm like, yo, I'm getting a scholarship.
Don't listen to that part.
No, don't listen to it. But it's real.
Listen to the stories.
But it's real. No, but it's real because everybody does it. We all do it. And it's like, they always tell us like when we're in that situation, like, yo, I was in your shoes. I was sitting here just like you. And what do? He's like,
all right, heard
old ass
you.
dude. You know what I mean? Old nigga, like,
so
you're not really, but
real.
it's facts, bro, because
It's so
the world is different. Like, after you leave college, like that same day you take that hat and throw it in the air,
You start spending
your
money.
life is, your free time is done. I realized that. So after I graduated, I was staying here because I was working out every day. And I I realized that when I had to buy my own toilet tissue. Bro.
Oh my
No,
God.
for real.
Buy my own
my
toilet
God.
I
tissue.
bought paper towel 2 days ago. I said, man, paper towel expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it cost this much bread for paper
God.
towel.
Bro, like, I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, yo,
I had a
gotta.
very different lifestyle than these two.
This is good.
As a
College
college
D1
athlete,
athletes. It's
yeah.
different. You
I've
spend-
been
It's
buying
different.
You
toilet
spend no money for 4
No
or 5
money,
years.
bro. You getting food, gear, tissue.
Everything.
You getting your clothes
Think of-
washed.
think of-
Somebody's washing
People
your
wash their own
drawers.
clothes.
Washing my drawers. Like, I don't gotta touch my drawers.
And
Like,
you don't pay for college.
I don't pay
What?
for nothing.
The day
Yeah.
you graduate, dang, you start spending. Ooh, I'm about to go broke.
Like, damn, I gotta feed myself.
Yeah, for real.
I gotta pay for food. Like, this is what y'all be doing.
Yeah, that's very jarring. That is.
It's true
like,
now,
I'll be
so-
shook too.
It's an adjustment.
That's crazy. But you made it though.
I did.
You made
Congrats,
it.
though.
though.
Nah,
Yeah, I'm
congrats.
so
and,
happy for you.
And you do good things, man. It's good to catch up with you some
you,
years
sir.
later, doing some good things. And listen, for y'all who can come out, show
Seriously.
out, ball. Whoever can ball, let me see what you got, cause you know,
All the info will be below.
baby
you know.
Brown might be there.
Tell your cousins, tell your kids, you know, every kid you know that likes ball or just doesn't have anything to do on a Saturday and wants to get a good workout in, this man.
Even just to come out to have fun, man.
Have fun, yeah. It's summertime.
If you doing
Exactly.
ball, just come out, have fun.
It'll be super fun. Hopefully we'll be there.
No, you will be there.
Baby Brown.